All right. Welcome everyone to the Wisconsin TUG meeting for the first quarter of 2026. Our topics for today are going to be a showcase of innovative dashboards from libraries to academia is what we christened the name of the presentation today. We have presentations from Tim Drexler and Ariana Smith-Rapp, who we will introduce at the appropriate time. Advance. Our Wisconsin TUG leadership team is myself and Robert Salas and Tosh Svebek and Brady Sullivan. So a huge shout out to my co-leaders. So our agenda for today is our welcome, and we'll do we'll do a poll like we always do, some general updates, and then Tim will present his presentation from the South Central Library System. Ariana is actually a student of Robert from our leadership team. He's a professor at Carroll University. So she has a project from a data viz course that she's going to show us. And then we have favorite visits from some of our leadership team, favorite visits from across the ether that will showcase for you and kind of explain why we like them so well and what is so cool about them. And then at 12:55, we will wrap up with a swag winners announcement. Please be aware that you must be here at the end to hear your name announced and to win your swag. Thank you. So if you grab your phone or and scan the QR code, or you can use the link there, we can launch the poll. And Brady puts a link to the poll in the chat.
Tim, you want to let me share? Or
Yep. Yep. I stopped.
Morning,
Okay, everybody. It's an active poll. It's a live poll.
Live poll.
Phones or computer.
Yep. Give everyone another second. For today's questions, first one is your favorite winter month in Wisconsin.
Where's the choice for hate them all?
Yes, I'm right. I'm voting under duress because there's not a none of the above.
Yeah, it's tough. We're in the tough times right now, but wanted to see with would March be the answer because that's the closest to the end, and that seems to be our answer. Next question related to our presenter today: favorite genre of book to read. I normally read a lot of fantasy or history. Finished the Wheel of Time series last year, which is 14 books that were big. So that was a long one. Now I'm reading The Lord of the Rings right now.
Yeah, I chose other because I don't really know what genre she falls into, but I almost exclusively read Danielle Steele books, and she has written so many. I have probably, I don't know, I have a ton of them that I still have to read yet. And then
Andrew
she keeps writing them faster than I can read them. So
Brady, Andrew had a really good point. Why are dashboard data visualization books not on the list?
Oh,
that's a fair question. That's a fair question. I guess it'd be like a self-help, but I guess that's fair question. When was the last time you checked out a book from the library? I get all my books from the library, so I frequent visitor. I'm not like some of my friends that rack up the amount of books because they buy all of them, or I don't like Kindles either. I like to physically hold the book.
Hey, Tammy, can you throw the poll link into the chat? I still haven't been able to get it to open. Don't know if it's the web page. Maybe others are having trouble. Thank you.
Favorite spot to travel to in the winter? Do you stay in Wisconsin, a Florida trip, Arizona, Colorado for skiing, or other? I'm going to Florida next month as my warm-up trip.
Wow, Brady, Colorado and then Florida.
It helps to have friends who can stay at their place. Lowers the cost for sure.
Yeah, Robert, I put the link there, but it appears to not be working. Oh, no, now it is. It seems to be good now.
California's a good one too. San Diego's a good year round. For another question for later today, do you wear a fitness tracking device? I am an Apple Watch wearer.
I just got an ad for the Whoop the other day.
Yeah, any of the ones that you need a subscription to actually use it, I'm not interested in. Like that you have to commit to it, otherwise it's useless.
Why are you cheaping out on your health?
I don't know if it's cheaping out. Do you track your sleep? My battery in my new Apple Watch lasts, so I lay it on. I wear it sometimes overnight. But for me, tracking sleep is just you aren't really going to do anything else about it. So not sure if it's helpful or it's more just adds more anxiety if you're not getting good sleep. And then 2 more questions. How often do you visit Tableau Public? Got a wide variety here of answers. I would say I'm probably trying to get in monthly, more like a few times a year. And then last, where do you like to see new visualizations? This is a multiple select. Is it social media, Instagram, Threads, X, Tableau Public, like joining tugs, online articles? I like reading a lot of sports articles that have good visualizations, or other sources like the visualization, inspirations, or just like seeing new ones in general. A lot of Tableau Public, tugs, social media, online articles. Well, that's it for today's poll. Thanks, everyone.
All right, I will grab the, excuse me, the screen share back for a moment. And, excuse me, I am so sorry. Introduce our first speaker, Tim Drexler. He is a data services administrator from the South Central Library System. He holds an information science degree in 2017. And then subsequently was awarded a master's in data science in 2021, which allowed him to transition into a data services role at SCLS in 2022. He has created a number of dashboards for the library system that support data analytics and information transparency. And Tim, I will stop sharing so that you can start.
Okay, let me get set up here. Does that look good?
Yes.
That's great.
Okay. And before I get started, I'll also grab the link to our Tableau public profile and put that in the chat. So if people want to check that out and kind of browse around the different dashboards that we have. So yeah, thanks for having me today. A little bit about myself, and Tammy mentioned this already, but I've been with SCLS for almost 27 years now, most of that time at the delivery service. And then I've been in this data services role for the past 4 years. So it's been quite a transition for me. I still sometimes feel like I'm pretty new to information technology, but now that I've got a few years under my belt, I'm feeling better about what I'm doing. This is also like a really kind of unique role. I think among library systems in the state, this is the only full-time data analyst or data focused role that I know of. So it's really an interesting job. I wanted to talk a little bit about SCLS. I'm not sure if people have really heard of us before or know what we do. We tend to be sort of behind the scenes. As you can see from the mission statement and our logo, we help libraries serve the public, but we rarely actually work with the public directly. So we tend to be sort of one step removed. We are one of 15 library systems in the state, and our service area includes 7 counties. So Adams, Wood, Portage, Sauk, Columbia, Dane, and Greene counties. We have 54 libraries in the system. If you add in branch locations, that number goes up to 65. And along that metric, we end up being, I think, either the first or second largest system in the state. We provide a lot of different services to our libraries, so I put a bunch of them here on this slide, but this is an exhaustive list. Probably the main one is ILS support. So ILS stands for Integrated Library System, and it's basically just a big database. It holds our shared catalogs, so all the data for all the items in the library catalog that all the libraries in our system own. It also holds all the patron information, and it tracks transactions. So anytime somebody checks something in or checks something out, or if patrons put something on hold, all of that's tracked in the ILS. So we have an ILS support team that is dedicated to keep that system running because it's really at the core of a lot of what we do. They do some catalog maintenance and write documentation and train library staff on how to use the system. We also have our delivery service, which I talked about. We have a fleet of about 20 vehicles that travel to all the libraries in our system, and then they make connections with other systems. So it ends up forming kind of a statewide delivery network. We have a technology team that does a lot of computer support, including our help desk. And we have a consultant team with a bunch of people that specialize in different areas. So I put some, again, I put a list on there, but that's not the complete list of everything we do. And then I added data services here on the bottom of the slide. It's not really a team like the other teams. It's really just me, but it also doesn't quite fit with all these other areas, which is one of the things actually that I really like about my job is that I end up working with all of our other teams and learning more about what they do and what libraries are working on. So in my role as the data services administrator, I work with our statistical reports. I do some scripting and automation tasks, and then I work on our data dashboards. So as far as our dashboards, I use a few different data sources to produce them. The big one is ILS data, which is the majority, I think, of the dashboards we have published right now. So anytime you see a dashboard that has circulation data or collections data, that's all coming from the ILS. We've got a couple dashboards that have cardholder demographics. So like borrowers broken down by age group, and that comes from the ILS. The other big source that I use is Wisconsin Public Library service data, and that comes from the Wisconsin Department of Public Instruction. So every year, all the public library systems in the state fill out an annual report, and they send their data in to DPI, and then DPI collects it and makes it available on their website as Excel spreadsheets. So there's a few interesting things about this data set. One, it's huge. It goes back to 1996. So it's a good way to spot long-term trends in the data, either on particular dimensions, or if you look at how the questions have changed over the years, you can see how the different services have been emphasized or de-emphasized over time. It's also nice because it includes all the libraries in Wisconsin. So that can be really good for peer comparisons. A lot of times libraries want to benchmark where they are compared to other libraries that are similar to them. So having all the libraries in Wisconsin expands that data set and makes that benchmarking a little easier. And the thing I really like about it is it includes a lot of metrics that capture things that libraries do that don't really show up in like your typical ILS or circulation type data. So stuff like library programming counts and attendance. For those of you that have been to a library in the past couple of years, you might have noticed that programs are a big thing now. There's story times, there's team programs, makerspace sessions. And so all that stuff gets counted up and added to the annual reports. There's also a lot of budget information, and that kind of goes back to that benchmarking and peer comparison that I was talking about. Libraries want to know, how is our municipality supporting us compared to other cities of the same size, that kind of thing. And then it also captures a lot of those little odds and ends. So like the number of library visits or people connecting to the wireless, how many reference questions librarians deal with. So it's a really kind of broad data set, and there's lots of different dimensions to look at. In addition to that, we sometimes get library supplied data that they'll send to me directly. And a good example there is community surveys. So we have a whole section on our profile page that's survey data visualizations. Usually that comes from libraries doing like a strategic planning process, and they'll collect the survey data and I'll put it in a visualization that they can then download and add to their strategic reports. And then finally, the last thing I'll mention is government data sources that I use, both state and federal. And the one to highlight there is the Legislative Technology Services Bureau. They do a really good job. They have an open data portal with current maps that get updated twice a year, and they make shapefiles available for municipalities in Wisconsin, which turns out to be really handy for us. So if you see any maps on our profile, on any of the dashboards, chances are the shapefiles came from LTSB. One other thing I wanted to mention about our dashboard, they tend to fall into one of two types, either infographic or interactive. And this is just something that I've noticed over the years. They kind of sort into these two general categories. I would say the majority of them are probably of this infographic type, which I think of them as more like static. It's just kind of a single view of the data, and there's not a lot of interaction. There might be a few different controls for filtering stuff, but they're really more designed just to be downloaded or printed or inserted into a monthly report that the library staff can give to their board, that kind of thing. And then on the other hand, we have more interactive dashboards that have more controls available and allow the users to do things like drill downs and filtering to change the view of the data. And those also tend to include a little bit more of the advanced Tableau functionality. So things like dashboard actions and dynamic zone visibility. So I've got a few examples, and let me see if I can get out of that and get to the actual dashboards. And I'll start with this one. This is our most requested titles by library dashboard. And this one uses ILS data And this is a good example of the interactivity dashboards that I was talking about. This is probably the one with the most controls and interactive elements of any of our dashboards. So the main data here is this list of titles on the left. And then you can see there's a lot of different options for filtering, and a couple side panels here, some of them with their own filters. And anytime you click on a link or click on a title in the list, that acts as the like an active filter for the data in these side panels, both the bar chart and the status summary table. It's also got this element that I like. It's got links, and I don't know if this will show up on the screen. But the links go right to our catalog. So they're tied to a bib record that the librarians can then pull up the catalog. And if they're logged in, then they can see more details about all the items that are attached to that record and where they've been checked out and item history and that kind of thing. Let me back out of that and grab another dashboard. This is our statistics summary dashboard. This is ILS data again. This one I think of as more like an infographic type of dashboard. So there's controls to select the library and the date. And then there's one control here where you can change the view from circulation data to holds. But otherwise, it's really just kind of that static view. And this was designed, it's based on one of our monthly reports that usually comes in the form of just an Excel file. And as I've been talking to librarians over the years, I realized that a number of them were using that report either just as the Excel file or maybe copying and pasting the data into another document. And then they would give that to their board on a monthly basis as like part of their reports. So I started thinking about how could we take that and put it in a visual format that might be, you know, a little more engaging rather than just a big table of numbers. So this is the dashboard I came up with based on that. And the data here gets updated every month. And it's supposed to be designed just to be really easy for people to download it and then give it to their boards in some sort of report or put it on their website or whatever. And then
Tim, you said you update these monthly. Do you have like a specific like schedule? Like some of these dashboards you have to update every month, and some are less frequent that you have to keep in mind?
Yep. Yeah, we've got a number of them that are based kind of like that statistics summary that are based on monthly reports. That's kind of the main time period that we use in our reporting cycle. So there's a lot of dashboards that get updated every month. Usually with the ILS data ones, those get updated every month. For the ones that use the service data, those can be more like yearly updates because the annual reports, obviously. But yeah, monthly is probably the most frequent update we have.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I've got a long list to remind myself every month of which dashboards I have to update. So yeah, I have to track all that. And then if I can grab this last dashboard. Speaking of annual report data, this is our Fast Facts dashboard, which is by far like our most popular dashboard. And it uses the DPI library service data set, which I think is one of the reasons it's so popular. It includes all the libraries, all 380 or whatever it is in the state. So I do hear from other library systems that their member libraries are using this dashboard, as well as libraries within SCLS. Again, this is more of an infographic type thing. I mean, it's really straightforward. It's all about just big numbers and bold colors. And this is actually something that I didn't design, my predecessor did, but it's something that I've kept going just because it's been so popular. There's no real interactivity here. I mean, you can select your library and you can go back a couple years if you want, but otherwise it's just what you see is what you get kind of thing. And it's kind of interesting. The DPI reporting period usually runs from mid-January until like late February. And there's been years where within a week or two of that period closing, I'll start to get requests from libraries like, do you have the data to update this dashboard yet? So I know there's a lot of demand for it out there for sure. Even though it's our simplest dashboard, sometimes that's really all you need. So those were the examples that I had. And I'll just grab my final slide here again, just to get my contact information out. Thanks for having me, first of all. And if anyone wants to get in touch, if you get a chance to look at our profile and kind of browse around the dashboards, if anything catches your eye or you have questions, or now you're just really interested in library data, feel free to reach out. I love to get feedback on the dashboards, and I never feel like I get enough. So I'm happy to hear from people if you have any comments or questions.
Thanks, Tim.
Sure.
I did have one question. I think you mentioned that the data goes back to 1996. For the dashboards, do you use all that data? I mean, I'm assuming data quality / completeness has changed since 1996.
Yeah, and that can actually be kind of a messy data set. So I was talking a little bit, I mentioned how the questions change over the years. So lining up the fields from year to year, there's some inconsistencies there for one thing. Yeah, and data quality back that far isn't always quite as good. So I would say going back that far, really the basic stuff like circulation numbers and budgets kind of line up that far back. But yeah, otherwise it's kind of hit or miss. I haven't found a project yet that really uses the data going that far back, so I'll be looking for something to do with that.
I had one follow-up question kind of along with that. So when you do need to do any data cleanup, are you making changes like in Excel, like exporting it and then manually doing that? Or what does your process look like for that?
I use Tableau Prep just nonstop. Like that's my main tool. I use it for pretty much all the data sources that I use. It's really handy because it can connect right to our ILS. So I can do direct database queries if I need to. And it's really good for mashing up different data sources. So depending on the level of detail I need, either I can go right back to the ILS or summary reports, or then combine it with some other data sources.
Yeah.
So it's mainly Tableau Prep. And then occasionally I'll write some Python scripts or something if I need to do something that Prep can't really do.
That's awesome. Yeah, Tableau Prep is something that we've talked about here on this tug in the past before. I also like it. It's a great tool.
Yeah, I would have mentioned it, but I didn't know if this was more of a Tableau focused group or a Prep focused group. But yeah, I use tons of Tableau Prep. So
yeah, all of the above. We like it all.
Yeah. Thank you, though,
Thanks,
Tim.
Tim.
Appreciate it.
Sure.
Thanks, Tim.
All right, yes, thank you very much. Let me share my screen again. So next up, we have Ariana Smith-Rapp. She is a graduating senior at Carroll University, double majoring in business analytics and marketing. She's going to be presenting her semester final project, which tells the story of her fitness journey over the past several years. And a shameless plug here, as Ariana is graduating, if you know of any opportunities where you work, or if you know of someone where a friend works or something, her LinkedIn profile is there, and I will drop that in the chat while Ariana is presenting. So I will stop sharing, Ariana, and hand it over to you.
Awesome. Thank you so much for the little networking plug. I appreciate that. Alrighty. Let's see. Can everybody see my screen?
Yes, indeed.
Awesome. Okay, well, first of all, thank you guys so much for having me. When Professor Salas told me about this, I was super excited. I was in Florida when he told me, and I was like, yes, I get to present. So that's awesome.
I have to interrupt just for 1 second, Ariana. The
Yeah.
stop sharing bar at the bottom
Oh.
of your screen is visible to all of us. It's blocking the
Perfect. Here, let
dashboard.
me hide it.
Thank you. Sorry.
There we go. Thank you. Like Tammy said, my name is Ariana. I am a double major in business analytics and marketing. And I actually originally came to Carroll as just a marketing student. And I had to enroll in Business 114, which was, I think, applied statistics. And I was absolutely dreading that course. I was like, I don't want to do stats at all. I had done it in high school. I had zero interest of analytics or anything of that sort. So, but then I stepped into this class and I met this incredible professor, and he was able to guide me through something where I didn't think that I could do it. And so I became a business analytics minor, or I added that to my major. And then I decided to do a double major in business analytics and marketing. So a really big thank you to Professor Salas, because I was always someone who struggled to ask for help in school. And he made me realize that actually it's the smart people who are asking for help. So very big thank you for that. And so, yeah, I'm just really excited to share this with you guys, because this is something that I didn't know that I would be passionate about. And I had so much fun making this personalized dashboard to me. And I know it might not seem the most interesting to other people, but it was really cool for me to see this health and fitness journey and how it's correlated with different parts of my life from the past 5 years, because I've had a lot of growth from high school to college. So without further ado, I will get into it. So right across the top here, I have these 4 KPI cards. I kind of wanted to keep this, like I said, this is a very personal project to me. So kind of wanted it to fit my vibe of a kind of cute, clean aesthetic. So this one right up here, I don't know if you guys can see my cursor, but this is like for the people who do have Apple Watches, like this is like I had AI generate what it looked like when you would start a workout. So like this was my favorite workout type that I would do. This one right here, this is like my total active calories. So an active calorie versus like just burning calories throughout the day are different. The active calories were recorded when I would be doing a workout. So like if I was running, and like the calories I was burning during that are the active calories. So just to keep that in mind. This is my favorite icon I created for this entire project. It's like a little resting heart rate. I did have a lot of fun with AI with this too. I really feel like it was like a huge learning opportunity for me to see like what I could do with AI as a tool. So like most of my images, if not all of them in this, are AI generated that I like had to kind of like press and like custom create myself. So that was really cool to do. And then this one is just like my average running distance and walking distance I did per day. One thing, if at the end of this, if anyone has any advice for me, I really was trying to create something where I could just have an icon, hover over it, and I was trying to put this text into the tooltip. But every single time I would do it, actually, it would mess up my shapes. So I don't know why. And I was really frustrated when I was trying to figure it out, because I don't like that there's like a lot of text in it. But yeah, if anybody knows, just let me know at the end. But I do have, I'm not going to read everything out loud, but it's just kind of a little summary of these line charts that I created. And then obviously you can switch between the years, and like these are my average active calories I burned each month. And it's cool for me to be able to see them correlate with different things. Like I have the average resting heart rate in my each of my different months. In 2024, this was my my first semester of college. I'm a little different. So I did this thing called PSEO in high school. So I enrolled at a community college my junior and senior year. So technically I am a sophomore of age, but I am graduating this spring. So when I say my first year of college was that last year, that's why. But so you can kind of see, like I had this huge dip. I was not active. I was sick all of the time. It was actually the worst. And you can see like my average resting heart rate really spiked up here, which I just thought was really crazy how much of a difference it is from this year to last year. And I dropped an average from last November to the previous, or from November of 2025 to November of 2024, a whole 20 beats per minute. So that was just really cool to like visually be able to see stuff like that. And then at the bottom, yeah, and then I just have my average daily distance that I ran and walked each month. I don't know why this scrolls so slow. Sorry. Okay, so these all individually, this is something I'm really proud of because it was quite the learning curve. These are all their own individual KPI cards. They are all also floating, so you can imagine how much of a pain in the butt that was when I was trying to literally manually pull all of them in and make them line up almost perfectly. And if I could redo it a different way, I totally would again. But it was a good learning experience for me, I guess. All of these up at the top, these are just little emojis that I had AI generated. And then each of these medals, like I have like my top workouts of 2021. So like my number 1 was mixed cardio, number 2, outdoor run, etc. And then I just created donut charts just for kind of like a more visually appealing piece to it. And these obviously correlate with the medals. And so like I have the gold as number 1, bronze as number 3, and silver as number 2. And then down here, I created some lollipop charts. So these change between, these are like my calories I burn by like specific workout types. So like when I go on my Apple Watch, obviously like I can select a specific workout I'm doing. This year I have like a much bigger variety than I do. As you can see, like I'll show you in previous years, there's less of a variety because I actually got a new gym membership. So I got to try all these. I'm really into group fitness classes now. So I had a big turnaround from last year to this year of like being active. So really cool for me to see that all specifically laid out. One thing I kind of thought was interesting actually was that my running heart rate, like my average was 170, but the calories, like my average calories that are burned are way lower. And like versus like cycling, like I'm burning significantly more calories, but my heart rate is lower. So I always thought like obviously when your heart rate was higher, you were working more, but I don't know if that's not necessarily the case or if there's optimal heart rates for things. I don't know. So it's just cool again to see like everything visually laid out so you can notice different trends like that. And then at the bottom, I just have, again, like a little summary of everything I kind of just talked about. And then, of course, I had to end it with more KPI cards. This one is really cute, too. This is like my max heart rate that I've ever hit. I don't know what I was doing where my heart rate hit 210. That's insane. And then this is like my most calories I burn in a workout. My year with the most workouts, and then how many I in total recorded on my watch. I totally forgot to mention this at the beginning, but obviously there were times where I like would forget to put on my Apple Watch, or maybe I forgot to charge it the night before and it would be dead, or there was like couple months up between like the 5 years where I think I didn't have one, or I was in the process of getting a new one because it broke or something like that. So there are like some gaps in the data, but overall, like the averages and the trends like are pretty accurate. This was just a little scatter plot I created. If you guys couldn't tell, I really was into using shapes and being able to use my own custom shapes. So like I have my, how many times I did cycling on a Thursday in the year 2025. And then down here, I have some more lollipop charts. And this one I wanted to like specifically separate into different eras of my life. So like 2021, 2023 was kind of when I was in high school. And then 2024 to 2025 was more of like when I was in college. So yeah, overall, it was just like a really cool project to see for myself, be able to lay something out. I actually had originally wanted to do like an ultimate Spotify rap, but my data from my music app, like it would auto delete after 3 months. So I had to scratch that idea. I was sad about that, but this was really awesome. And how I actually got the data from the fitness apps was I had to download. I found an app. I downloaded a bunch of apps, and finally one that didn't make me pay allowed me to put it into a zip file, and then I uploaded it to ChatGPT. And ChatGPT actually did a really good job of creating me an Excel file, and then I just cleaned it up, and it worked out perfectly. So yeah, if you guys have any questions or feedback, I would love to know. Thank you so much.
Really good.
Ariana, there was a question of, do you plan on updating your fitness data at the end of the year? Are you going to keep this going and continue to maintain your dashboard and update your data as you go along and be able to see a 5-year, 6-year, 7-year trend?
I actually was thinking about that, and I had thought about that the other day. I'm like, oh, that would have been cool if I would have updated it at least for like the end of the year, because I had started doing this project, I think early November was when we started. So I don't know. Maybe. It's like interesting for me to see. But maybe in like a year from now I would put that year in and see how things have changed.
Yeah. To your question at the beginning about how to get the text in, there were 2 answers. One was from Matt, who said, put the text as a title on another viz and then add that viz into your tooltip. So that's using viz and tooltip as a trick.
Okay.
And then in the Q&A, Angela said, for the long text, you can try viz and tooltip or use set actions or dynamic invisibility to have a sheet open on the side and disappear when you click away. Oh, both really good suggestions.
Okay.
We can talk about that more in school.
Cool. Sounds
good answers. Thank you, Matt. And thank you, Angela, for responding.
Yes, thank you guys. I appreciate it.
Oh, wait, one more question from Andrew. What was the most challenging aspect of your project?
Probably when I would get stuck, like, and it would kind of be like, where do I go from here? And like, it was hard, especially like when I was in class, there was only one Robert helping us 30 students. So like, even like I remember there was a time like he didn't know, and like so many other people needed help. So like, I think when you would just get stuck, and then, cause you kind of get stuck in that one place. Cause like I would get overly fixated on wanting to like get that done. And like, cause I had such like I'm like, oh, this is such a good vision. And I'm like, it's just this one thing that's in my way. So maybe like not getting so hung up on it. And like, I did have to pivot a lot when I would get stuck, but yeah, maybe just not getting so stuck. Cause there were some times where I wasted a lot of time just trying to figure out one thing, when maybe if I would have just like thought of something differently and just kind of been like, okay, like let's do it differently than waste all this time.
For the biz professionals on this meeting who have run into that, raise your hand. Right, you got fixated on one thing, got stuck, perseverated, couldn't let it go. Yeah. And then Andrew asked a second question, which was, what was your biggest takeaway from this project?
Biggest takeaway?
Excuse
probably
me.
One thing that was really cool was, I remember I was thinking back to like when I was in elementary school, and they would have us we used to make like these Google slide presentations of just like, I don't know, like something like dumb, like what's your favorite dessert? Like just so we would like learn about like using tools like that. And I think I realized how much I missed that like creativity side of myself like while doing this. So I was just like, it was really fun to like just like be able to be like my authentic self and like just do kind of whatever and like be creative and put it into something where it was like valuable to me, and it could be valuable to like people and companies if I wanted to do it. So that was cool to learn about myself.
Awesome. And I thank you, Ariana. And I think Angela maybe has a question. I'm trying to give you audio, Angela, but if you want to type it into the chat, that would work too. There we go. An internship possibility there, Ariana, in the chat.
Sounds good. Well,
thanks, Andrew.
Thank you.
Very good.
Yes, thank you, Ariana. That was awesome. So Moving right along. I will, folks on the leadership team, I can present these slides if you want to talk about them, and just tell me when to move ahead, and I will. So we're moving along to the favorite visits. I think we're way ahead of schedule, so we might be giving you some time back today. But we're moving on to favorite visits, and Robert's choices are up first.
Give you guys a moment to use that QR code if you want. I did generate QR codes for each one of these. If you want to use the tiny URL, let's leave that up for just a second. Or Tammy, if you could paste them into chat.
Yep, I'm doing that.
So the first one that I'll let you guys take a second to open, I came across through LinkedIn, and I don't know if it was made in Tableau or what it was. So if anybody from Salesforce is spying on the tug, don't be mad. But I really like this one. It is a visualization. Obviously, it's a 4-square quadrant scatter plot. And as I noted in here, as a liberal arts educator, this hit me. I'm going to show it in classes, not just my visualization class, but my management classes as well, because I really like how it shows what employers are really looking for in the coming years, right? So with the career change I had last year into academia rather than consulting, my focus has shifted to a few years down the road for these little tiny humans like Ariana, who are going to be entering the workforce in a few years.
Robert, the QR code and the URL goes to his LinkedIn profile.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh man. Okay, so click on. I'm sorry. I wanted to make sure I gave him credit for it. In there is you can click on the LinkedIn image for it and bring it up. That'll be fine.
Okay.
Or
I'll find it. Keep talking. I'll find it.
I just put it in. I put it in the chat. If anybody else wants to use it, I apologize. The link directly to it is in the chat.
Okay.
So if you guys are opening it independently, the scatter plot that comes up looks like most quadrant charts, right? There's 4 areas labeled very clearly. Emerging skills, core skills in the top right. In the bottom left, we have out of focus skills. So these are the things we're shifting away from. And then in the bottom right, steady skills. So across the bottom, we have the share of employers considering this as a core skill right now today, 2025, and going upwards what they expect to have and are anticipating for 2030. And what I found most remarkable in this, and I just want to be clear because we're on a technical user group, right? The Tableau user group is a technical skill. The purple skills are predominantly a little bit over on the left. Programming in particular is in the bottom left quadrant. AI and big data is in the top right quadrant. But some of the others that are technical in nature are to the left of the midpoint. And on the right, what we have are a whole host of soft skills, people skills, thinking skills, all of the things that we as individuals, people, educators, students, professionals, analysts of any type bring to the table in terms of analytical thinking, creative thinking, curiosity, being able to be self-aware and motivate yourself and others, empathy and active listening, yada, 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 yada. The list goes on in that top right quadrant. And one of the things that I've found most fascinating and validating and valuable within my data visualization career is how data merges with all of those more soft skills and interpersonal skills to create what we do, right? Data storytelling is more about narrative, interpretation, understanding, and thinking creatively, not the calculated field that you coded that's super sophisticated and cool. And so this is one of my favorite viz just in terms of telling the story of where we're going to be in a few years. A little bit of a repudiation to AI, in my opinion. And also, as an educator now, something that I'm going to bring forth to my students to really focus on those things. So this was one of my favorites, even in its simplicity. There are no features, there are no functions, there are no filters. It just communicates its story very, very clearly and easily. Feel free to share widely with your coworkers, colleagues, or even your children if you haven't. The second one, I tried to go a little off the beaten path here with both of mine. The second one, Tammy, if you can open that one.
Yep,
Open
Yep,
correctly.
I'll bring it over just a second.
Is from a fellow named Dennis Cow, and he's presented for both of our tugs. When I say both, I also co-lead the Madison tug. And he does a lot of maps, and I love his maps. He's really interesting to look at, his body of work. This one I just love because it brings people into this visualization that, believe it or not, is interactive. If you hover over people's faces, it tells you about them. So Dennis Cow is right in the middle, and other people who are in there. These are kind of luminaries in the data fam community of Tableau Public, of LinkedIn. You'll find this hashtag data fam is used all over the internet. And within the Tableau data fam community, these are some superstars. Adam Miko there that's being highlighted, a alum of Madison. He and I worked together as colleagues for state agencies. His career has had a stratospheric rise. And again, I just thought this is interesting viz because it's not a chart, right? It's a people map. It's a map of people who are influential in this area, and it puts us a face to the names of some of the biggest contributors in this content area. And I just thought that's cool.
It's
That's
really
cool.
cool too. I know some of these people, and these caricatures of them look real. So
Yeah.
that's awesome.
So I think this is a good example of how our definition of data viz doesn't have to be bar charts, line charts, spark lines. It can be a family photo of contributors, coworkers, colleagues, and then you integrate some data in with them. In this case, how many visitors they have, how many visits of the day, links to their various profiles, right? This is in fact an interactive dashboard that looks like, you know, a high school class photo or a family photo. So those are my two favorite that I brought forth. Enjoy them. Thanks for letting me share about them.
All right. Thank you. Next is Brady, your two.
Yeah, I can share my screen, Tammy. Go through.
Okay. All right. I'll stop.
Yep. Thank you. I'm gonna send my links in the chat here in a second. The wrong screen. There we go.
Real quick, just want to make a plug to hang tight. I know we're going through some visualizations just kind of quickly. Hopefully they'll add to your repertoire of interesting things. I would anticipate in the next 10 or 15 minutes at the most, we'll be coming to the end and we'll draw our swag winners. We're giving away $40 gift cards to the Tableau merchandise store. There's a lot of interesting things on there: technology, drinkware, glasses, bottles, t-shirts, Tableau stuff. Everything's branded Tableau, but useful things in normal everyday life. So hang in there, people.
Yep. So I was looking for, I love looking through sports visualizations. College Football Championship was last night, and I thought we'd stick with the theme of that. So I was looking through Tableau Public for some fun college football visualizations recently. I found 3 of them I really liked for different people that publish a good amount of different things besides just college football as well. I found this one as a fun way to look at an unfun topic, conference realignment, and basically puts in you use parameters to change where schools go to different conferences and the impact on those conferences and what that looks like. And how does that affect, All-American, like the number ESPN FPI, things like that. It's very interesting to see of how conferences would look like if they look like how they should, where the schools are based on geographics, not money. But pretty cool visualization built by Sam Epley, who has a lot of visits, works for Tableau, and has 746, so a lot of different ones on there. But I thought that was pretty interesting for a tool to actually put like some visual numeric impact on how all these conferences are changing. This one here is a couple from Bo McCready, who's presented for us last year. It's about the history of college football, and then you could look at scoring differential, wins, and All-Americans. My favorite thing to do looking at this is looking at schools that have changed recently, where that's for the better of Indiana, which is a lot of losses until winning the national championship yesterday, and Nebraska, which is a lot of wins and then not much recently. And then schools like Vanderbilt as well, that a lot of losses, and then it's bouncing up. So if you know lifelong fans of people like Vanderbilt and Indiana, they've gone through a lot, as you can see visually. And then another one from Bo is a bounce back of the Big Ten as they've started to rack up championships recently. The SEC definitely most dominant in the this century, but last 3 for the Big Ten, and interested to see how that keeps going. And then last but not least, I love putting numbers on instead of putting vibes on things. So this is from Kyle, and he did an equation based on historical numbers to rank college football programs to see who are actually blue buds. We're using 10 different, all these different weights down here. You can see like Wisconsin, where they're ranked in all the different categories. And that's got a point system for that. So pretty interesting. I thought that was pretty interesting, just to see, even if I don't agree with all these different systems, all the different metrics, it is really cool to see like what that looks like based on the history of all these college football programs.
So the 2025 football season for Wisconsin didn't cause it to fully implode and drop out of this biz completely.
Not in shame, no. But not great. That's for sure.
A little bit bitter about how last season went, but
yeah. Those are I put those links in the chat, but all 3 look pretty good.
Those were cool. I'm also a sports nut, so I can't wait to check those out in a little more detail. All right, then I will share one more time. Tosh has some of hers to share.
Yes, I'll just talk off this screen for a minute first, and then I'll go ahead and share my screen after. So these are just 2 dashboards that I had come across recently. The first one is from the Viz author, Kevin Wee. So he's on Tableau Public. I liked this dashboard that I'll show because it has to do with data podcasts, and I enjoy listening to podcasts in my spare time. Just a fun and easy way to learn from other people. There's obviously so much content out there for podcasts, and maybe surprisingly, maybe not surprisingly, for data podcasts specifically. So this one will be cool because it just features some data podcasts that are out there. And then the second one is Blake. He has a dashboard that he entered for the Iron Viz last year. I enjoy art, therefore I enjoy Pokemon. His dashboard is about Pokemon, so I'll show both of those here right now.
I will stop sharing.
Thanks, Tammy. All right, so this is the first one that I had come across. So again, here's just the page on Tableau Public for Kevin. He's a Tableau visionary, public ambassador, speaker. He's also from Chicago, like myself, so I appreciated that. And then his whole page is just really cool. He puts a lot of effort into all these. Today we saw, some icons in dashboards and different ways to show KPIs. He also does that in his dashboards with icons and pictures. So they're really fun to look at too. The dashboard that I had initially come across, though, to find him was this data podcast dashboard. Again, just a great way to keep learning, hear about the data community in other ways than going on to Tableau Public or being on LinkedIn. This is just another medium to do it, is through podcasts. So he names some of the ones that he's focusing on. You can also hover across the timeline to give you more information about the episodes of that certain podcast that you're clicked into. And then he also, which I just appreciated, this little piece at the bottom, which is when he got the data. So from Spotify between January 2020 and September 2024. I just like knowing the context of where the data is coming from. And it seems like he was inspired by another dashboard from Kevin Flairledge. So leads you to another dashboard just to check out. Very cool though. And then this next author, Blake Feza, he's a 2025 Tableau ambassador. Similar here, I appreciate a lot of the vizzes that he has put out here, but the main reason that I came across his page is because he entered a dashboard for Iron Viz last year, and I enjoy like learning about Pokemon, so this was a pretty cool dashboard to me. This is Rekindling the Flame, so it's like an infographic. Also, another thing that we were kind of talking about earlier today. There's, infographic type dashboards, then there's interactive type dashboards. So this is an infographic where there's less interactivity in it, but you can scroll down and get a bunch of information from it. This is just another way to share the data when you do an infographic. Sometimes, like Tim put it, that's all you need. So in this case, it's showing everything that you would need to learn about what they're talking about here, which is the video game aspect of Pokemon, actually. And then again, just calling out all the icons after Ariana's dashboards. Lots of icons in this dashboard too. So just packed with information, and I thought it was really cool. So 2 dashboards, feel free to check those out. And then, Tammy, I can actually keep sharing if you want.
Sure,
close out. All right, I'll close out the meeting. We did have a quick slide on tips and tricks. Did we want to touch base on that in this meeting?
No.
Okay, cool.
I think
that might have been from the last one. No, it's taking me through this. Let's not do that.
Do you want me to grab the share back, Tosh?
Sure, I'll give it back to you.
Okay, because I have it
already. Perfect.
Actually, why don't I take over, because we're going to do the upcoming events, and then we'll do some giveaways.
Okay, that's fine. Go ahead, Robert.
I'll take care of both there. Okay, one moment. So we have some sister tugs or brother tugs, however you want to think about it, across the state, which is to say that we, excuse me, hold on.
You're not sharing, Robert.
I know, I'm getting there.
Oh, okay.
Here we go. Thanks everybody for bearing with all the technical usual problems. Entire screen, boom, and here we go. So we have a couple of partner tugs across the state. We are obviously the Wisconsin one that spans the whole state. There is in fact also a Milwaukee Tableau user group. I don't know their next event date precisely. And then there's also a Madison Tableau user group, which I also help co-lead. That date has already been set. It's March 24th. We'll be at Baker Tilly's headquarters, which is on the east side of Madison, near Sun Prairie. It's going to be an in-person event, and I think we also might make it hybrid, meaning you can access it virtually. But right now, the plan is mostly to be in person. We'll have a great lineup of speakers, activities. It's going to be probably one of our showcase events for the year, and food and goodies and things on site as well. So that's that. And then we come to the swag winner stuff. So let me go here. I entered in everybody's name that's been here at the last minute. I've kind of fallen in love with this website, Wheel of Names. So here we go. We're going to spin, and see who we get. If you're online, please send a DM to me, and I'll also put instructions into the chat here in just a moment. So Reginald Thomas, yay. Reginald Thomas, if you're still online, send a DM within our chat or email. Just pause and I'll put the email address into chat. And then our second winner today Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. I don't know if you guys get the sound effects through
No,
Teams.
we're not hearing him.
No? Is Kieran Ratani. Can somebody check and make sure both those people are still online?
I will look.
I see them both in the participants currently.
Yep. they're both
Excellent.
here.
So Reginald and Kieran, we are going to send you gift cards to, I cannot figure out for the life of me how to stop sharing here. Stop. We're going to send you a $40 gift card to the Tableau merchandise store. And you guys are welcome to shop around and look for anything that you want. There's a variety of different things, from little swaggy tchotchke things to speakers, to backpacks, to packs, and so on and so forth. And the only thing to keep in mind, sorry, they do charge shipping and handling. We don't have any way of covering that for you or including it in there. So just be mindful of that. So $40 for each of you. Thanks for attending and being part of our Tableau user group here today. Again, send a DM to anybody on our team or email the address in chat, wisconsin.tug@gmail.com, and we'll make sure to get those turned back around to you. I'm going to give back to Tammy to close this out.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. So thank you everyone for coming. We're going to give you some time back. And while Robert was talking, I did a quick search to see if I could find out when that Milwaukee Tug next meeting is, and I didn't find anything. So just watch for their announcements about that. But we'll give you some time back this afternoon. I hope everybody found this engaging and learned a lot. You'll get a survey after this event, so we would appreciate it if you would fill it out. And I'm going to put in a shameless plug for the unsubscribe. When you get emails about these Tug meetings, that unsubscribe button will unsubscribe you from every communication that the Wisconsin Tug sends out. And that would make us very sad. So if it's an email that that particular email is just not interesting to you, please just delete it and move on. Please don't unsubscribe or you'll never hear from us again. So we can't get you back once you unsubscribe. So just a shameless plug there. Everybody have a great afternoon. If you are in the deep freeze of the Midwest, stay warm. And we'll see everybody again in April.
Thanks,
Have a wonderful
everyone.
week.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you.